Alabama 1st and 10 on the 12. Again, Houston. He's got a hole. He's over. Alabama touchdown.
I'm just wondering if your listeners know how good a football player you were. I can still see you playing that fullback, knocking those players out of the way. And that, I believe I could have run behind you.
Martin, I can remember when we came to summer and you were playing fullback up there, and I saw you in the weight room and watched you work out in the weight room. If you could pick up, you were strong enough to pick up the whole weight room. I wanted to fix it, and our running back coach didn't take it. Biggest mistake we ever made.
The Martin Houston Show with national championship winning fullback Martin Houston, giving you 1 hour of intense, hard-hitting analysis from an insider's perspective. It's time for the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports, Tide 100.9, and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
Welcome in to the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier as we kick off this Thursday edition. This playbook is the third Saturday in October. As we continue that conversation, we have the grade for the 2024 team. What is your fondest memory of a Bama win over Tennessee? I hate Tennessee because, of course, we hit some recruiting inside the Vols and more. Why the third Saturday in October matters. Remember, we are brought to you and powered by Box Eye Care.
What a week. It is that time of the year. It's usually right around the middle part of the season. You kind of have an opportunity to kind of look at, okay, we got half of it behind us. We have the rest in front of us. What's the rest of the year going to be like? And even though we've had some high highs and some low lows, Alabama sits at 5-1. And it's amazing how we as fans can shift and change expectations, or you sometimes. What's those saying, Chase, Xavier? You can't see the forest for the trees. The forest is 5-1. The trees is we lost to Vanderbilt and struggle with South Carolina. But the reality of it is, halfway through the season, we're 5-1 with a win over Georgia, who was the favorite coming into the season, who was, struggled with Kentucky and dropped from number 1 to number 2. They get a chance this weekend to rectify that assumption that Georgia has lost its luster. But the reality of it is, if you were looking at the forest and someone said you'd be 5-1 heading into Tennessee with the win over Georgia, Bama fans, you taking it or leaving it? Bama fans unanimously would take it. Now, the question becomes, I still haven't got an answer to this yet, Chase and Xavier. The question becomes, what record does DeBoer have to have, air quotes here, with Saban's talent to equal what Saban did in his first year? The only thing we say about DeBoer in this season, X, is that DeBoer has more talent than Saban. What everybody else is forgetting, then Saban had his first year. What everybody else is forgetting is so does the rest of the entire country. The SEC, this SEC, go back and look at the teams that Saban lost to. Were those teams the same caliber up and down the schedule that DeBoer is facing and will face the remainder of the season? So I want somebody to call me up and tell me, what record does DeBoer have to have to equate? Does he have to match what Saban did? Does he have to match what Saban did? Or does 10-2 equal 7-6? I'm sorry, 11-2 equals 7-6? Does 10-2 missing the playoffs and 11-2? Does 11-1 or what about 10-3? Does 10-3 equal Saban's season? Wasn't Saban's worst record 10-3 after his first year?
Yep.
But wasn't that by many considered his most talented team?
Yes, it was.
Oh, so Saban's okay for Saban to lose 3 games with his most talented team, but it's not okay for a first-year coach to struggle because the South Carolina team that beat that national championship defending team was not as good as the Vanderbilt team that just beat Alabama 2 weeks ago. I'm just saying, y'all. I'm just saying, it's football. X, and we're talking Tennessee week. And so you have to bring up the 2-3 Tide that went up to Neyland as our friend, Neyland Stadium, the garbage truck convention center. 2-3. 2-3. High school team. Everybody calling for his job. People literally thought if we lost that game, we'd have been 2-4. By the way, that was coming off of an SEC championship team. I'm going to hold that thought right there, X. I'm going to stop right there. Remember that because I want to talk about it, I want to dig into it. Remember that this is the day that the Lord has made, so let's rejoice and be glad in it. Take some time today to notice someone, love someone, serve someone, be the difference you want to see in the world today. The phone lines are open. Empowerment Strategy and Solutions hotline is open for business. Empowerment Strategy and Solutions. We speak, we train, we coach. Just go to martinhouston.org. You can find out all the information there, martinhouston.org, and you can click on the homepage and find all you need to know about Empowerment Strategy and Solutions and all of the great services that we offer at Empowerment Strategy and Solutions. I'll toss it back to you.
All right, as we kick it off, we've got some recruiting news to get to. Bama has a new 5-star. They updated the rankings yesterday, and Bama is still sitting. If you look at 247 Sports, is the number 2 class in the country. But that gap between Bama and Ohio State has closed.
So players still want to come play. Players still want to come play at Alabama.
Guys still want to come play at Alabama.
That's a shocker. That's a shocker. I mean,
right?
The program is in shambles. It's pathetic. It's horrible.
What are we gonna do?
Chase, you're gonna have to mute my mic today.
Now you gotta let them know. Honestly,
Bama now has five stars in this class, and there's been a slight movement. Of course, Keelan Russell, who has had an absolute historic rise, is now sitting as the number 3 overall player in this class. He's still the number 3 quarterback because Bryce Underwood, who's committed to LSU, is number 1. Taven St. Clair, who is committed to Ohio State, is number 2. But Keelan has moved up from number 10 to number 3. So he's right, and he's having a great senior year. I think in 5 games, he has 25 touchdowns to 1 interception this year. He just got revenge from his 1 loss in high school this past week. But
Xavier, does he run the ball? Does he run the ball?
A little bit.
They better not run him, because if he runs the ball and he's good at it, he's a running back. He's not a quarterback. Mute my mic, Ace. I'm being
right. But of course, Dejon Lee, Ty Haywood, and Caleb Cunningham still sit as 5 stars, and Lee is at 15, Haywood at 20, and Cunningham at 22. But one player has surpassed the 3 of those guys, and that is interior offensive lineman Michael Carroll. He has jumped over 100 spots, is now sitting at number 13 in the country. So he's our new 5-star. Absolutely. That's a crazy jump at this point of the season.
Where is he from?
He's originally from Pennsylvania, but he is playing at IMG down in Florida this year. So
So
he's
he'll
our
be
big dog.
replacing. He'll be fighting in there where Booker is right now,
Yeah,
potentially.
potentially, yeah.
He's an interior
And
guy, though, right? Not a,
yes,
okay. Go
yeah.
ahead. Go ahead.
And then Alabama has picked up a new commit, Cavante Henry.
Mm-mm.
He is a edge rusher, defensive lineman. A lot of people see him potentially being a bandit. He is the number one overall JUCO player in the country that
Why
just
did
flipped
you
from
go
Mississippi
play for
State.
us?
I don't know. Why would they want to do
I don't know, because the wheels are just falling off.
that? Right? But he number one player, number one JUCO player in the country. So huge jump with him. Not a lot of movement from other guys, but Bama does have a total of a total of 8 guys ranked in the top 60. If you look outside the 5 stars, that's 5 star. I mean, that's 4 star edge rusher Justin Hill out of Ohio. Offensive tackle Jackson Lloyd out of California is sitting at 57, and Kalen Deere, running back out of Mississippi, he is rounding it out at the number 60 spot. So this Bama class is looking great. Can't complain about it too much. Any thoughts
So
of
what you're saying is there's a possibility that a new coach comes into a program replacing the GOAT
Mhm.
and could go, 10-3, whatever. If he loses 2 more games before the season's over, he finished regular season 9-3. But he's bringing in the equivalent of what Saban brought in his second year, which led to a huge upgrade in talent. And then Alabama went on a run because the players learned his system and he got more of his players. See, everybody thinks talent wins games. If talent won games, then Nick Saban would have won every national title over everybody. I don't know if there's been a game. There was a game once he got his players in where we weren't the most talented team from top to bottom.
Right.
I
There
don't
probably
know.
wasn't.
Huh?
There probably wasn't.
Okay. But we lost, but we would lose games. And his most talented team lost them. I want Alabama fans that keep hollering and talking about talent. Let me tell you the last time a 4-star or a 5-star won a game on paper. Never. Never. What was the condition? What was the condition and the development of those 4 and 5 stars that Nick Saban left behind? Because if it's the case, if talent alone wins, I don't ever, Chase, you might want to mute my mic as I say this. I don't ever want another Alabama fan to call a radio station and say we would have beat Georgia because of talent.
Yeah.
Because it doesn't matter if you have talent if J-Mo goes down and Mechie goes down, because Nick Saban had 13 and 14 games to get his 5 stars that was on his roster ready.
Yep.
Counting the offseason and spring practice and summer. But everybody expects the new coach with a brand new system to have gotten all of this talent ready to play at a consistent. You know what young talent does for you? And inexperienced talent does for you? It gives you really high highs and really low lows. And will we see a high on Saturday or a low on Saturday? We'll let you tell us. We'll keep talking about it right here on the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. And for all you saying, well, Martin, man, you're going off on. Hey, listen, this coaching staff needs to get better. But we as fans need to get better too. We'll be back on the other side.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a very happy Thursday to you. We're hitting those brake lights in a couple of spots right now. McFarland Boulevard on the westbound lanes, just past 37th Street. I do see where traffic is a little stop-start, but no worries. That's just intersection slow goes. Also, McFarland again, and this on the east end, westbound lanes right around Northbrook Drive. You'll slow down just a skosh. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
Hey, Bama fans, this is quarterback Jalen Milroe for my friends at Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram. Before you shop anywhere else for a Dodge Ram truck, a Jeep, a Dodge Challenger, or a Dodge Charger, shop local. An amazing selection of new and pre-owned vehicles are on the lot now. Go see for yourself at 550 Skyline Boulevard East in Tuscaloosa, or you can shop online at TuscaloosaCDJR.com. At Tuscaloosa Chrysler, Jeep, Dodge, Ram, you pick it out and we'll work it out. Roll Tide.
Join Tide 100.9 this Friday from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. for Fridays at the Free. Come see Wyatt Fulton broadcasting live at Innsfree Irish Pub and enjoy some great pub food with that Irish flair, including that signature Irish gold sauce. Come have Innsfree's Lucky Lunch, a delicious meat in 3, and let Tide 100.9 get you ready for the Bama game this weekend. Fridays at the Free, every Friday during football season with Tide 100.9 and Innsfree Irish Pub, located at 1925 University Boulevard, downtown.
Got timberland in West Alabama or East Mississippi? North River Timber Company has you covered. Since 2011, Courtney White, a registered forester, along with his expert team, have been managing timberland and harvesting timber across 4 West Alabama counties. They offer comprehensive timber management plans, reforestation services, and appraisals. Courtney White says timber is like money in the bank. Don't let your investment go unrealized. Call North River Timber Company today. Email them at northrivertimberco@gmail.com or call 205-242-5127.
Hey, DC here from 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9. Are you ready for some football? I know I am. Join me Saturday for Tuscaloosa's only live pregame show, presented in part by Tuscaloosa Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram, Pearl River Resort Casino, Grandstand, BMW of Tuscaloosa, R&R Cigars, and North River Outdoors. It's the Tide Tailgate Show on 95.3 The Bear and Tide 100.9 WTBC 1230. Roll Tide.
Dixie Battery Supply takes care of all of your battery needs. Find the commercial batteries you're after and never feel powerless again. Come check out our Northport and Tuscaloosa locations or call us at 205-758-9190. And once again, power up all your devices by using Dixie Battery Supply, DixieBatterySupply.com. They offer reconditioned batteries starting at $39.99, and you'll find all the batteries you need. And don't forget to ask us about our golf carts. That's DixieBatterySupply.com.
Keep it locked into Tide 100.9 for more of the Martin Houston Show with Martin Houston and X's and O's Sports, Xavier Houston.
Woo! Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Oh man, have we judged too early? I don't know, but I want everybody. If Bama fools around and ends the season with say 10-2, 11-1, what was our expectation? When Saban was in the midst of his thing, we all wanted to make sure that we just didn't fall off the cliff. And sometimes you win, sometimes you lose. JR75 said, we need to remind people what happened with Saban's very stacked team, elusive quarterback, great quarterback, potentially the best to ever play the position by some, one of the better defenses, and we got humiliated by Clemson. Speaking of Clemson, X, it looks like Dabo might be on his way to getting a little revenge or vindication, I should say, if he can keep it up.
Oh yeah.
With the way he's handling the poor. I don't know what's going to happen with Dabo, but they seem to, other than the Georgia game. Or oh yeah, that's right. That league over there is just really bad though, X. And so, or is Georgia really good? And if Georgia's really good and Alabama had them 28-0, that means that what lies within this Alabama team, the potential. See, X, I would rather have a high that showed that type of dominance than to have just a bad loss.
Yeah.
Because you can have a bad loss or you can have a good loss and still not know the potential of your team. But you know the potential. Yes. You saw what this team is capable of if they get it all together. So let's say that this team X progresses and grows the same way last year's team did. What was the highest high you saw from last year's team? LSU?
LSU.
So let's just say this team just continues to grow. And then we saw them revert back in the championship game to what they were in week 2 against Texas. Same mistake, same stuff. Let's go. Let's go. It's on you, man. I'm muting my own mic for about 5 seconds.
About 5 seconds. All right. Hey, we got Pat joining us on the Empowerment Strategy Solution Hotline to talk some recruiting. How you doing this morning, Pat?
Hey, good morning. Hey, you did mention Henry this morning. That he's he ain't rated up there as highly as some might think, but he is the number 1 JUCO. And as far as an edge rusher type of a player, and that do you agree that he may be this the one that we need to be able to put pressure on the quarterback? That because he's pretty quick.
We don't have a problem putting pressure on the quarterback. What our thing is, we have a system where we just don't blitz a lot. I mean, if you look at what Q Robinson's doing, if you look at LT Overton, I think is ranked is tied for 3rd or 4th in the country in quarterback pressures. We don't have a problem. And when we blitz, Jahad Campbell is constantly in the quarterback's face. We just don't do it a lot.
When we blitz, Pat, against latest stat, Pat, according to Kennington Smith III, 48 and some change % of the time, every other pass play, we pressured the quarterback to getting the ball out early. We just didn't do it enough. And that's where he's going to have to buck his own trend. Talking about Womack.
Yeah. Can we take a little trip back in time to 92 in September when y'all played La Tech? How bad did they talk about Coach Stallings when y'all only beat La Tech 13-0?
And the best Pat, watch this. Yeah, I was there. You want me to tell you the best defense I played against in my entire career, including Miami, including Auburn, including Georgia, including Tennessee, Penn State. The best linebacker group, the best defensive front I played against? La Tech.
Was La Tech. I saw.
Hey, watch this. Watch this. Go. I wonder if you asked John Copeland and Eric Curry, who's the best offensive lineman they played against. Willie Roaf went on to have a Hall of Fame career at New Orleans, and that's the part that people and you know what? And I'll make this really quick. The reason they were so good, Pat, they took what was called back then Prop 48 players, and these were guys who were talented enough to be playing at Alabama and all these places, but they all went to La Tech because they could get in. Not all of them. Really, Roaf was a really smart guy. I don't think he was necessarily a prop, but my point is that's what you have in these other schools now. Transfers who have played football for a long time at a lot of other schools, and now they're going to places, and we still see them the same way. Like, it was hard for fans to understand La Tech. giving us, because Pat, remember, it was 6-0. And David Palmer, in his first game back after suspension, got a punt return. That's what made it 13.
Yeah.
It was 6-0. It was a defensive.
The thing was, you had Brother Oliver as your defensive coordinator. That was the difference. But the biggest thing, they did not have Bradshaw, and they did not have the Swamp People Daddy at quarterback. Had they have had one of those two, y'all might have been in trouble.
Well, we might have been in trouble, but we had a pretty good defense, Pat. I don't think that they necessarily got close to scoring. They just had an unbelievable defense. They had, I think it was 8 guys on that defense got drafted in the NFL. And I can tell you, as a fullback who was physical, that is the only game that when it was over, most of the time, if I had to block against a guy, it was 1 or 2 guys, and I could wear them down. Baby, I was having to go just as, I mean, I went hard every play, but at the end of that game, Pat, they were still coming. There was no let up. All three of them was tapping me every single play. And I had to get some ice baths and all of that after that game. So don't look at the logo on the helmet. And in today's game, in today's culture, you can't do that at all. Thanks, Pat. Appreciate it.
No, sir. Have a blessed one, Martin.
Have a blessed one, Pat. Ellis, you're in on the Empowerment Strategy Solutions hotline with Martin and Xavier. What's on your mind?
On my mind is the awful comments I seen on the coach's show last night on Facebook when I was watching it.
I mean, Ellis, I have not got to see it or hear it. It happens on Wednesday night, which is church night for me. So I hate that he moved it to Wednesday night, but it kind of nullifies my ability to be as in tune with what all said. What happened?
It's just comments. People saying terrible coach, he needs to be gone. You know, this comments like that. It's just awful that us Bama fans are like that. My prediction, you was talking about prediction, my prediction was 10-2 at the start of the season. That's what I thought we might do, and the 2 losses were going to be Georgia and Tennessee. So
if we beat both of them, then we might get out of here 11-1, right? If we win Saturday, we might just finish 11-1, according to you, right?
But you know, you was talking about the losses and everything. You know, I'm not going to walk away, and I'm not going to say any bad things if we end up losing more, because it's his first season and putting in a new system. You know, so it might be harder, but I'm going to stand behind my team and stand behind my players.
Yeah. Hey, and here's my thing. I don't have a problem with critiquing. I mean, I hope everybody continues to critique him. It's just I hope people filter it through the right lenses and not just through the lens of, well, Saban left this program in such great shape, Ellis. And X, I'll let you respond to this. Why did Saban retire? Once again, I want people to sit back and answer the question, why did Saban retire? He told us for 17 years he would do it until he couldn't do it at the same level and feel like he could be effective. That's what he told us. And so why did he retire? Did Saban retire because he just, oh, hey, I don't want to coach anymore. I'm full. No, that's not why he retired. Why did he retire, Ed?
He couldn't coach at the level he used to, because it's changed so much.
Yeah, he retired, and he made it clear. If you listen to how he talked the last few years with NIL and the transfer portal, you knew it was coming. And that's what it was. The players asking for money on top of money on top of money just got to the point of, and then the threat to leave. I heard it put really good by a guy who used to actually work for Coach Xavier, McKiskey. He was a recruiting coordinator. He said, excuse me, he said, coaches have lost the ability to even punish players. Because now if a coach goes, hey, you screwed up, you've been doing this, you ain't been doing this right, it's time to sit on the bench. That guy can now go, oh, well, I'm out without any penalty. So coaches have to be softer if they want to keep guys. And that's not Coach Saban's style.
And he lost one game last year. And if he felt like he could go through this season and with this team and only lose one game, if he felt that way and keep his sanity and do it, Saban would still be walking the sidelines. There's a reason he left.
Oh, yes.
And guess what? Whatever Saban was looking at, this is what people need to understand. Whatever team Saban was looking at when he made the decision to retire, DeBoer inherited a worse roster than Saban walked away from.
Yep.
Let that sink in, Bama fans. DeBoer inherited a worse roster than Saban walked away from, according to his words, that he could not do it at the level he had been doing it at prior. He left DeBoer with a worse situation, with a worse roster. Didn't say it's bad roster, but that roster wasn't good enough to get past Michigan last year and get to the championship last year. And Saban felt like it may be worse this year. And whatever he looked at and saw, it was worse when DeBoer walked on the campus. So let that sink in. Ellis, you got a score for us real quick?
I got 38-28.
And Alabama's total yards?
365.
365. Thanks, Ellis. Ellis is up there in Tennessee repping the Crimson Tide. You can rep the Crimson Tide. Call us at 205-342-9904. That's the Empowerment Strategy and Solutions Hotline. Or bring your thoughts and comments in over on the live stream. We'll be back on the other side to keep the conversation rolling.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. Well, a very happy Thursday to you. We're hitting those brake lights in a couple of spots right now. McFarland Boulevard on the westbound lanes, just past 37th Street. I do see where traffic is a little stop-start, but no worries. That's just intersection slow goes. Also, McFarland again, and this on the east end, westbound lanes right around Northbrook Drive. You'll slow down just a skosh. With your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
When you're hiring, ZipRecruiter's technology makes finding qualified candidates for your job easy. What if the rest of the world was as easy as ZipRecruiter? Math problems wouldn't be so problematic.
K equals 42.
And summiting Everest would be a walk in the park. In the meantime, if you want to make your hiring easier, use ZipRecruiter. And right now, you can try it for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Nearly everyone has two kidneys, each about the size of an adult fist. They are located on either side of the spine, just below the ribs. Kidneys are very important to overall health. They help remove waste and extra fluid from the body. They filter the blood. Kidneys also make the vitamins that control growth. They also perform an important function by controlling blood pressure and minerals like calcium and potassium to keep the entire body healthy.
If you find yourself in a wreck, keep three things in mind. First, call the police. Second, take pictures of the scene. Third, call me. I'm attorney Stephen Mizrano, and I win. My firm is committed to fighting the big insurance companies and making sure you get the money you deserve. Call today for a free consultation. I don't get paid unless I win for you. Call 800-8000 or mezwins.com. I've got this.
No representations made that the quality of legal services to be performed is greater than the quality of legal services performed by other lawyers.
Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value under the biggest cactus in town. They've been doing it the right way each and every day for 50 years and counting. If you're looking for a great option for lunch and or dinner, then you need to check out Taco Casa. Taco Casa, and while you're there, don't forget to get a big glass of that sweet tea. Visit them online at tacocasa.com. That's tacocasa.com. Quality, taste, and value on the biggest cactus in town. That's Taco Casa, tacocasa.com.
It's that time of year again. Fall is in the air. It's time for football, hunting, or whatever you enjoy doing outside. Stop by Tuscaloosa Tractor and get the perfect Kubota equipment for what you need. Whether it's disking fields, clearing lawns,
lots, or property maintenance, Tuscaloosa Tractor has the Kubota to make that job easier. If you're looking for that end-of-the-year purchase for your business, Tuscaloosa Tractor has great deals and financing programs on Kubota equipment to fit your budget. Tuscaloosa Tractor, Skyland Boulevard East. Don't you buy no ugly tractor.
Hey, I'm Martin Houston, and I want to tell you about exciting news happening at Box Eye Care. They moved to their new location, bringing you a brand new lab, stylish new frames, and a fresh look just for you. Enjoy their expanded frame inventory, competitive prices, and faster service, all with the same great level of service you've come to know and trust. Discover this full-service eye care at Box Eye Care's new location. With their in-house lab, they offer unbeatable value and one of the largest frame collections in town. Schedule your eye exam today and walk out with new glasses in less than an hour in most cases. Visit boxeyecare.com. That's boxeyecare.com, or call 205-342-0660. That's 205-342-0660. Visit them at 5003 Oscar Baxter Drive. That's Box Eye Care. Your vision, our priority.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
The weather stays dry through early next week. Lots of sunshine today, the high 67. Clear tonight, the low 42. Tomorrow's sunny with a high at 71. And the weekend looks good. Lots of sunshine Saturday and Sunday. Highs between 73 and 76. I'm James Spann on the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 39 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
It is blocked. Turner did not run to the middle. He's close to the right hash mark. Stopped at the 30. And that will set up a game-winning field goal try by Philip Doyle. They're going to let him kick it. A 47-yarder to win it for Alabama. It is good!
Got a flag on the field right here, roughing the kicker. So this game's over anyway.
All right. For those of you who are not watching on the video, that was the replay of the 9-6 win by Alabama versus Tennessee, third Saturday in October. X, what's crazy about that is this. We went into that game 2-3, X. 2-3. Won that game to move to 3-3. Now, everybody was calling for that coach to be fired. That was Gene Stallings, right? We lost 3 games in a row, X. And and we were the SEC defending champions, and the majority of the players were coming back for that 90 season. And we lost 3 games in a row. But you know how many games we lost over the next 2.5 years? Because they did not react stupidly and fire him. Because we went on to lose 2 more games that year. So he was 7-5 that year.
Well, I mean, we all know in the summer of 91, y'all's good luck charm was born. And, y'all went on a pretty crazy run after that. So I just
so let that sink in. He lost his first 3 games, X, won that game against Tennessee, and the tide turned. The tide literally turned, but we still lost 2 more games that year.
But
we lost homecoming.
Part of that.
Hold on. I got to. We lost homecoming, so the Bluebirds came out again. Oh my God, we lost homecoming to Penn State. Then we got embarrassed and humiliated by Louisville. Everybody forgets Louisville was Vanderbilt back then. Louisville wasn't the Louisville that was the Lamar Jackson. Louisville was everybody was ready to fire him after that. Then we beat Vanderbilt. Then we got embarrassed 35-0 against Florida. We lost his first 3 games. In the next 2.5 years, after those 3 losses, he only lost 3 games. After his first year, he only lost 1 game or 2 games, really, if you take the next 3 years. Up until he played Florida in the championship game. He lost to Florida the next year, undefeated, a tie game against, I think, LSU or Tennessee, whoever it was. And so it was just 28 games in a row after losing 6 of his first. Huh?
After an 0-3 start.
0-3 start and 6 of the games and 6 losses. He had 6 losses in his first, 13 games?
Yeah.
So the first 14 games. And then he didn't have but 1 loss his next 30 games. So hold on, Bama fans. It's going to be all right. It's going to be all right.
Yeah, and even for y'all as players, you talk about the 0-3 start. Y'all had lost, the guys that came back had lost 5 games in a row.
Thanks for reminding me. I was moving past that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But it just shows.
But we were SEC champions.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's saying. Hey, we're SEC champions this year. That's the reason I point that out, X. I wasn't trying to point out the fact that we lost 3 in a row. I mean, the last 2 of the season.
Yeah. Well, it kind of plays. I mean,
it does play into it. I get it.
It does.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no, what you said you wanted to talk about that game, like, and what it meant. But actually, before we do that, let's get to a couple comments. Look, CJ Watson said, if you look at Georgia, Tennessee, Mizzou, LSU, Oklahoma, Saban would have a hard time going 5-0 on this stretch. I don't think he would if he was still here. What if Kalen DeBoer does? Would he still be considered too loose with the players and undisciplined? Currently 1-0, and that's against the best team on the schedule. And then Timothy Robinson says, I also think you need to add that Saban couldn't hire quality assistants anymore. His decision happened immediately after a review of assistant candidates if he had a few of them who could come alongside him. I believe personally, in light of all things, Saban would have stayed another year or 2.
Agree. Agree on both of those statements. And that's the question. We're making a final. Be careful. This is what I tell people. Be careful not to make a permanent decision, in a temporary moment. Be careful.
Right.
Be careful. And we had one caller that sent a message X also, since we were going through comments. We had SLC Bama Girl from Salt Lake. She said, preach, Brother Houston, for program development and recruiting, the biggest obstacle DeBoer, staff, and players have to overcome, even greater maybe than more talented opponent roster, is Alabama fans. That's from SLC Bama Girl out in Salt Lake. So thanks for those comments. But anyway, I'm back to you, Ed.
Yeah, but you were saying you really wanted to talk about that 90 that 90 game, and what was the
well going into it, everybody it's if we were in the social media world of today, it would be even probably worse than what DeBoer's getting. I mean, it was bad. Remember, we lost to Southern Miss in 90. So losing to Southern Miss and all that, Southern Miss had not beaten Bama. It was the same type of thing. You know what I mean? And so we forget revisionist history, but the reality of it is we lost all of those games. And we saw where we could have won them. And I can see where, even though we played really bad against Vanderbilt, we still could have won that game if 1 or 2 plays go the opposite direction. And I will go back to Bam Bam's statement, X, is would you rather have lost to Georgia and beat Vanderbilt and South Carolina. If you would, you wouldn't know what the full potential of your team is. And you don't want to lose to Vanderbilt. You don't want to lose any. Nobody hurts more than those players. But the reality of it is, that within this team, this talented team that everybody talks about, and I agree it's talented, but it's young. And it's young with the new system. Saban did a poor job of getting guys ready. And the guys that he had ready for this season X are gone. So when I look at that 90 season, I think about how it changed the mindset of what the potential of our team was. We had struggled, and up until that point, I mean, we were 0-3 X at one point, and we were questioning and wondering. And that win brought us confidence. It brought us not swagger, but just a quiet confidence to know, okay, we got this one done. We got it done. And from that point on, we just built on it. And I think about this team in the fact that they need a confidence boost. And I think this third Saturday in October could have that type of impact on a Kalen DeBoer career, if that makes sense. If they come out and dominate another Tennessee, then these young guys will figure out, okay, we have to take the same approach we did against Georgia, the same approach we did against Tennessee, if we're going to compete at the highest level. I think they just thought they could roll out their helmets because they beat the best team in the country, the quote-unquote new standard, and I think they got surprised by Vanderbilt. I mean, they just had no answer, and preparation wasn't good. I think preparation will be better going against Tennessee for two reasons, because it's familiarity and they've learned a lesson.
Yeah, and I think the on-the-road environment of understanding now, not saying that Vandy is on a level with Neyland Stadium, but just, hey, we've been on the road. We've seen how hard it can be. That'll help. Excuse me.
All right, we'll be
go
ahead.
In the future.
No, I was going to say we get to break. Hey, let's put some finishing touches on this edition of the show. We can continue that line of conversation, or you may want to go in a different direction. Thanks to all of you who are jumping out there. Tomorrow, I want to remind you that we'll have the Free For All Friday edition of the show powered by the Pharmacy at Midtown, the Pharmacy at Midtown, pharmacymidtown.com.
Go inside the Alabama Crimson Tide with the Gary Harris Show.
Hey, it's Gary Harris. Thursday morning at 9 a.m. on the Gary Harris Show. I'll be coming to you live from R&R Cigars, the Cigar Mansion, downtown in Tuscaloosa. Get ready for Alabama and Tennessee. The coach, Ella Johnson, will join us. D. Orlando Ledbetter with the Falcons Report, and also Chad Sears, Mark Sears' father, will be with us. Talk about a basketball camp coming up this weekend. Plus your phone calls and more. That's the Gary Harris Show, Thursday morning at 9 a.m.
Catch the Gary Harris Show Monday through Friday, 9 to 11 a.m. on Tide 100.9 and Tide100.9.com.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
Tuscaloosa traffic now from the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center. No major hang-ups for you on your Thursday morning as of right now. We always hope it stays this way. So let's talk about the construction zones. You got that on 2059 eastbound between Joe Melisham and McFarland Boulevard. McFarland on the east and westbound lanes has road construction between Jack Warner Parkway and Lurleen Wallace with no slow-goes right now. And with your Tuscaloosa traffic now, I'm Tammy Thomas.
This report is sponsored by Positive Coaching Alliance.
It's the year-end clearance sale at Townsend Nissan going on now. You can save thousands. See BJ or Kylan today at Townsend Nissan, your savings place.
Got issues with youth or high school sports? Positive Coaching Alliance can help. PCA, a national nonprofit, offers more than 1,000 free online resources for youth and high school sports coaches, parents, students, and administrators. Visit PCADevZone.org.
The Venue, your new favorite Tuscaloosa hangout, food, music, and more. Come and taste what's new at The Venue, whether it's Liza's Sweet Shop, whether it's the all-day breakfast and burgers from Ramajama's, or the quality food that you can get at Finish Pub. Great atmosphere, great time, great people, great environment. That's The Venue. You can find them online at thevenuetuscaloosa.com, located off of Watermelon Road, just past Sokol Park. That's The Venue, Tuscaloosa's new favorite hangout. Make it yours.
Flips up a layup. That's good. Everything working her way to possibly the dagger for
The wait is finally over. Now is your chance to grab season tickets for Alabama women's basketball. Experience every play, every basket, and every win from the best seats in Coleman Coliseum for only $75 by heading to RolledTide.com today. Don't miss being a part of the Sea of Crimson when the Tide hosts conference foes Auburn, LSU, and South Carolina. The new season tips off on November 4th.
I'm so excited to have recently launched the Empowerment Strategies and Solutions organization. We speak, we train, we coach. As a John Maxwell certified coach and team member, I would love the opportunity to work with you and your organization to build corporate culture, build a championship team, or coach you one-on-one as a C-suite or emerging leader. As a DIS certified consultant, I can help you be the best version of yourself. To work with me, go to martinhouston.org/book me. That's martinhouston.org/book me. That's Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. We speak, we train, we coach. Don't forget to mark your calendar for December 3rd for the Live to Lead conference featuring John Maxwell, John Gordon, Malcolm Gladwell, and more. Join us at the Bryant Conference Center. It's a half-day simulcast event presented by Empowerment Strategies and Solutions. Purchase individual tickets for $70 and a table of 8 for $400. Visit martinhouston.org and click the Live to Lead tab and follow the instructions. Once again, to register, visit martinhouston.org, Live to Lead tab, and click register.
It's time for the Martin Houston Show. With the same hard-hitting, no-nonsense approach in which he played the game, Martin will take you inside the locker room, down on the field, and across the goal line with his in-depth analysis.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show with Martin and Xavier. Man, it's now time for the Harvest Church 2-minute warning. Harvest Church 2-minute warning. Curtis Moore saying he's going to be up there in the nosebleed section at Neyland Stadium. There's nothing sweeter than being up there. And they had the Alabama fans way up in the corner. And a few minutes in, all you could hear was, instead of Rocky Top, all you hear was Roll Tide, baby. So hopefully we'll have a little bit or a whole lot of that actually on Saturday. I'll toss it back to you.
Yeah, I just wanted to continue this conversation where we have about kind of how Bama fans have a little bit of revisionist history when it comes to the expectations of this coaching staff. We've talked about how Nick Saban only had one undefeated season when it wasn't COVID or anything here, and you look at some of these losses and people forget. I remember Alabama losing to Ole Miss one year, and this, I think it was 2015, was the national championship season, or it might have been 2016, one of the two. But we lose to Ole Miss. It was 2015. We lose to Ole Miss, and then we go to Arkansas, and we beat Arkansas 14-13. Had to get an interception from Landon Collins towards the end of the game to put that game away, just like we saw this past week. Guys, this has happened time and time again in the Saban era. We lose a game, we play a hard one the next week.
And what was the situation with Ole Miss that year? They added some unexpected top-level talent. Kim Dichie.
Right.
What was it? Laramie Tunsil.
Treadwell.
They added 3 key components, that changed that whole culture. And that's what Vanderbilt's done. And like I said, I want everybody listening to me. I agree with the fact that to me, it's situational coaching we've made some mistakes in, or going against your trend, bucking your own trend, that this coaching staff has to change, because the teams have figured out what we're going to do on third down. And when we blitz, we are dangerous. We just have to decide whether or not we're going to buck our own system and our own things. Am I 100% pleased with the last 2 games? Absolutely not. So I don't want people to hear me saying that, but I'm also not ready to burn down their houses and run them out of town because I go back and look, man, we're 5-1 and we're top 10, and we're everything that we want to play for is still available. Now, it's possible that there could end up being some crazy, if Texas wins this weekend, we win this weekend, Texas A&M continues to win, and Texas A&M ends up, beating Texas, then those two are going to play, or vice versa. Right now they're both undefeated in the SEC. One has 3 wins, the other one doesn't have but 1. But my point is, you can end up with those two teams playing in the championship game, and guess what? In a prior year, Alabama would have played Texas A&M and would have had a chance to redeem themselves, but they don't this year. So this team could end up 11-1 and be outside looking in, which would have been the same case with Saban potentially several other years. So I'm not ready to give up. I just want to see this defense get better, and he has to do it. And and to Curtis Moore's point, X, and I'll toss back to you, is he did make a change, and the 4-3 was good at times. We started 3 linebackers, but I think we need, if we're going to have a run team, we need more defensive linemen. That's what I'm more worried about. I'm not as worried about the 4-2-5 or the 4-3, 4, whatever they end up running against passing teams. It's the run game that concerns me in third down, and that's where they have to get better. X.
Yeah, and I think the coaching staff will. If this coaching staff does what it needs to, I think it absolutely can keep this team rolling, and we'll get back on track. Be consistent.
I tell you this, I will take DeBoer and this coaching staff over Saban and last year's coaching staff, and Saban and who he thought he could get this year.
Yes.
That's why he's not
100%.
coaching. That's why he's not coaching, y'all. Just FYI. Saban didn't just walk away because he was walking away so the guy coming after him would have a national championship team that he thought could win a natty. Okay?
No, yeah, I mean, you're 100% correct on that.
All right. Hey, we'll have a free-for-all Friday on tomorrow, brought to you by the Pharmacy at Midtown. Today and every day, we're brought to you by Box Eye Care. That's Xavier Houston. I'm Martin Houston. That's Chase Brumfield. Thanks to all the callers, listeners, viewers, and chatters for being a part of the program. On tomorrow, we'll have our score predictions. We'll take your score predictions and a whole lot more right here on your home for Alabama Sports Talk 100.9 and 1230 AM WTBC. Roll Tide out there, everybody. We'll catch you on tomorrow.
It's time to come together. It's up to you.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.